Hello, I'm Yogi, and welcome to the last episode of making Hitman Reborn characters custom Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes. If you for some reason haven't seen the other videos I made on this, basically I'm just going through all of the 10th generation Pongo family and giving each character its own custom Yu-Gi-Oh deck. And like I said, this is the last episode. I've already done all the other characters before this, so you can go watch them before or after this video. But yeah, as usual, I'll be going over the cards, what they do, what they're based on. Then after that, I'll go over some combos that the deck can do itself. But without further ado, let's get into Tsuna's custom deck, the Sky Archetype. Starting with the monsters, first we have a normal one. It's Boy of the Sky, Tsuna Sawada. Level 3 Fire Warrior monster, 700 attack, 2000 defense. And of course, it's based on our favorite no-good student, Tsuna. And since it's a normal monster, obviously it's no effect, but he does have a little flavor text, which says, "This no-good middle school student always tries to avoid conflict and anything that could stop him from having the normal life he craves. One could say he's extraordinarily ordinary." So again, not much talking about it, as you can tell, it's Tsuna, fire monster, because of course, 700 attack, 2000 defense, add them up together, you get 2700, because if you don't know, Tsuna's name could be translated as the number 27. Just like a lot of the other characters in Hitman Reborn, a lot of their names can be translated to numbers, so it's like a whole thing. But I decided to put that and just put into his stats, basically. Well, let's get to the next one. We have Sky Boss's Home Tutor, level 3 light monster, warrior effect, 1400 attack, and 500 defense. And the art for this is based on Reborn, Tsuna's Home Tutor. If you control a Tsuna monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is summoned, you can add one Sky Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can target one monster you control, gain life points equal to half of that monster's attack, and you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So like I said, based on Reborn, and because of that, you can special summon him out whenever there's a Tsuna on field. He's also the deck's Spell or Trap searcher. He can search any Sky Spell or Trap, and I will get into this in a moment, but basically, since it adds any Sky Spell or Trap, obviously, that's going to include Sky cards that were already in the Yu-Gi-Oh game, which I looked up. There are 86 cards, right? And obviously not all those are spells and traps, but I'll get into that a little bit later. And the third effect is just to reference how Reborn uses Sun Flames, because he is the Sun Archipeleno, which is also why he's a light monster instead of a fire monster. But yeah, let's get to the next one. We have Sky Boss's Big Brother, a level 4 Fire Warrior monster, and this one is based on Dino. If this card is normal summon, target one monster on the field, half that monster's attack and defense. And then once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, negate its effects for the rest of the turn. You can only use each effect of Sky Boss's Big Brother once per turn. Now obviously, like I said, it's based on Dino, and if you've seen the show, you know Dino is a very clumsy person, which is why his normal summon effect will have a monster's attack and defense. Then that is not an optional effect. If you normal summon it, you have to do it. Even if your opponent doesn't have monsters on field, then you're gonna have to target one of your own, or himself, either one. And the Monster Negate effect is more referencing the Dino card I made for Hibari's archetype, since he was also in that. So I thought it'd just be like a cool little kind of connection between the two, like yeah, it's the same character, so obviously they'd have the same effect basically. Next we have Sky Boss's Father, a level 7 Fire Warrior, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. And this one is based off of Imitsu, Tsuna's dad. And then of course there's Imitsu's wife, aka Tsuna's mom, in the background, Nana. If a Tsuna monster you control is destroyed while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card. If this card is summoned, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. And once per turn, quick effect, you can banish this card until the end phase. One Sky monster you control gains 1000 attack and cannot be destroyed for the rest of the turn. And you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So like I said earlier, this is based on Tsuna's dad, and I had the art kind of reflect his quote-unquote job that Nana thinks he has, which is I think oil digging or oil drilling. I'm not sure the term he's for, but he's got a little pig over his shoulder. Again, Nana's in the background, because she absolutely loves this man. But yeah, when a Tsuna monster you control is destroyed, you can special summon himself out, kind of like an angry parent, I guess. When he's summoning a destroy card, I just gave him that because when we see him actually fight later on, yeah, he's pretty strong. So I figured, just give him a destruction effect. And then a quick effect banishing effect is supposed to be referencing how Tsuna's dad left at some point. Not leaving the family, obviously. Everyone tried to act like, oh, he left him and all that, but obviously he left for his job, which again, Nana thinks is oil drilling, but we know later on is that he's a part of the mafia too. So I like to think that he left, obviously, to do that, but also to keep his wife out of it, which is also supported by, him not telling her about all this anyway. On to the next one. We have the first Sky Boss. This one's a level 6 Fire Monster, 2300 attack, 1500 defense, Warrior of course. And this of course is based on the first Vangla boss, Yugioh. And I may have changed his level later back to level 7. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll go check later. you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing 2 sky monsters from your graveyard. If this card is summoned, you can target 1 sky card, except for the first sky boss in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. And once return quick effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, banish it until your opponent's next standby phase. And you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So this card can special summon itself out from the hand by banishing 2 sky monsters from your graveyard. I thought about letting it special summon itself from graveyard as well that way, but I figured this last effect was pretty good, so I just decided to leave it at special summoning from hand, and if it's summoned, you can add a sky card from your graveyard to your hand. So this effect is kind of referencing the time aspect of the Vongla rings when it comes to them being in a Trini set, kind of like how you can see like all the previous bosses through the rings, I'm not going to get too into the Trini set here, obviously. I already made a video on that a long time ago, but that effect's based on that, and then the banishing a card your opponent controls, which is supposed to be more of like a reference to the 0-point breakthrough technique that he created, which, freezes a person in ice, but instead I just took it. I was like, well, you'll banish it, but then it'll come back later. We got one more main deck monster. We have Skyline Natsu, level 3 fire beast monster this time. 800 attack, 1200 defense. And of course, this little cutie is based on Natsu, or Nuts, if you want to go by the manga name, I guess. If you control a Tsuna monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. This card is summoned. Target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. That monster cannot attack or change its battle position. And if a Tsuna monster will be destroyed, you can destroy this card instead. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So since it's a box weapon, I gave it a little special summoning effect when Tsuna is on field. And then the second effect is a reference to Natsu's ability, which is kind of just the effect that Sky Flames have, which is harmonization. But like the way that shows up with the box weapons is that the flames will petrify someone, like literally will turn a person or objects to stone. So it's referencing how Natsu can do that. Then I gave it like a little classic Yugioh monster effect at the end, he can destroy himself in place of a Tsuna monster. But now we have 2 extra deck monsters to go into. We have Sky Boss Tsuna Sawada, a Link 1 fire monster, warrior, 1900 attack, and the Link arrows pointing up to the left. And this art is supposed to be based on Tsuna, once he goes into his hyper dying wheel mode, specifically with the gloves, though they do look more like robot arms here. But to make this, you need 1 Tsuna monster, except Sky Boss Tsuna Sawada. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 fire or light sky monster from your deck to your hand. And once per turn, you can have this card gain attack equal to half of the attack of a monster this card points to until the end of the next turn. And if this card leaves the field, you can special summon 1 Boy of the Sky Tsuna Sawada from your deck, hand, or graveyard. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So in typical Yu-Gi-Oh fashion, it's a Link 1 that's pretty good. I get into the first effect soon, but the second effect is based on Tsuna's ability, the 0-point breakthrough revives, where he can absorb dying Will Flames and add the power of it to his own. And the third effect is just, referencing how once he leaves Dying Wheel mode or Hyper Dying Wheel mode, he goes back to normal. Now, for the first effect, as you can tell, this card is the deck's Monster Searcher. But the thing is, like I said earlier, there are a lot of cards in this game with Sky in their name, right? Just to give you an idea of like what monsters have Sky in their name, we have Blackwing, Jetstream the Sky, Clavicus, the Magic Key Sky Blaster, Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, Sky Thunder, Leonardo's Silver Sky Ship. There are a lot of monsters, right? And again, that's not even talking about the spells and traps like Cerulean Skyfire, Fire King Skyburn, and of course the most broken one of all time, High Five the Sky. So when I was realized I'm doing the Sky thing, I'm like, these cards could really add a lot of stuff. And for Reborn, I felt like I couldn't really put a restriction on it, because like what restriction you put on that? Only normals, only quick plays, only continuous cards, like there's not really a good restriction you could put on it to like really stop it from going out to other archetypes. Because technically, Reborn could add a Sky Striker Spell Trap if he wanted to. But with Tsuna, I went through all the cards and I figured out, like with him, I think it's a lot easier to make a restriction. So I made it a fire and a light restriction. So we can add the monsters from this archetype, including Reborn, who again is a light, but it also shuts out a lot of other sky monsters that are in other archetypes. For example, Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher, is a dark, but you could add Mekk-Knight Blue Sky, who is a light, though it's not gonna do too much if you're going first. But it could be a cool engine going second, to add another Mekk-Knight. So I did that, and there's also another little restriction later on too, which we'll get to soon. But we have one more extra deck monster. We have Jin 10 Vongla Boss, Tsuna and Natsu, level 7 Fire Fusion Monster, 2700 attack and 2700 defense. And this art is supposed to be based on Tsuna's combo formula from the manga, where he gets the red gloves. This card needs 1 Tsuna monster and 1 Skyline Natsu. Let's first do special summon from your extra deck by sending the above cards you control to the graveyard. If this card is special summon, you can target 1 monster on the field. That monster cannot attack or change its battle position. Also, have this card gain attack equal to half of that monster's attack. During the main phase quick effect, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it and all cards cards in its adjacent monster and spell and trap zones. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So, like all the decks I made, we had to make a fusion monster based on the combo formula, and like usual, I would combine the monster's effects together into like one effect. And the second effect is more referencing Tsuna's X-Burger, or even Big Bang Axle if you want to use that as well, but either way, one of his big attacks, of course, because it's going to target a monster, destroy that, but also destroy cards on its opponent's one. So basically, it'd be in a little plus pattern. And again, 2700 attack and defense as reference to his name. But yeah, that was all the monsters, so now we'll get into the spells and traps. First, we have a quick play spell called Sky Release. And the art here is supposed to be referencing the Vongla ring after Primo/Yugioh kind of took off the little restraints or restrictions that the rings have had. So when it became like, the giant blue gem and then all the color ones around it. But the effect is target a sky monster or monsters you control up to the number of monsters your opponent controls. Have them gain 1000 attack until the end phase. And then on the second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, place one sky card in your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of the deck, and then draw one card. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So pretty simple kind of card, more like a little battle trick, I guess. But and the second effects there just for a little recycling power, put some things back into the deck. But yeah. Next card we have is Sky Flames, a normal spell card. And the art here is supposed to be referencing the Sky Flames themselves. Target one sky monster you control, then you special summon one level 7 or lower sky monster from your hand or deck, then destroy the targeted monster. And if a sky card you control is destroyed while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then destroy one card your opponent controls. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. And then with the first effect, the reason why it's 7 or lower sky monsters is because there are a lot of other sky monsters in this game, and a lot of the really good ones are level 8. Though I do have a little restriction coming up soon that'll probably make it to where like I didn't really need these restrictions anyway, but just in case, I figured I'd do it. And the second effect's just there for a little utility, I guess. But the next card is Sky Famiglia, a continuous spell. And the art here is always supposed to be Tsuna in the middle, but it's supposed to be, like the Vongla family around them. But like, obviously, AI can only do so much with all the descriptions I gave them. Yeah, the card still looks nice. The first effect here is you can only summon fire and light monsters the turn you activate this card. So that's the restriction I was mentioning earlier. When this card is activated, you can add one sky card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except for Sky Famiglia. Once per turn, you can reveal one Gen 10 monster in your extra deck, special summon from your hand or deck one of the fusion materials whose name is mentioned on that monster. And lastly, once per turn, if a sky monster you control battles, you can reveal one sky monster with a different name in your hand. And if you do, your monster cannot be destroyed by battle for the rest of the turn. You can only control one face-up Sky Familia on your field. So with that first effect / restriction, I think I worded it in a way so that like if you already summoned like a non-fire or light monster before you activate this card, then this card will not be able to activate. Second effect, of course, adds a card from deck to hand. I really like the revealing a Gen 10 monster, special summoning one of its materials. It's kind of like a once return fusion deployment, but only for the Gen 10 monsters. But I think it's cool because, I gave every Vongla family member a Gen 10 fusion monster. Though granted, obviously I put a restriction on this card where you can only summon fire and light monsters when you activate this card, but like if I didn't have that, then I guess you could play this card also in like all the other decks. But the last effect is just there because it's kind of supposed to be referencing how like, the family is supposed to be protecting the boss. But now we go to the traps. We have Test the Sky, a continuous trap. You are supposed to be, Tsuna studying for a test, which he's notoriously, not good at. Once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls. Your opponent then chooses a random card in your hand and calls the card type, monster, spell, or trap. And if they call it wrong, destroy their card. This card is in your graveyard except the turn it was sent there. You can declare one type of card, reveal the top card of your deck, and if you do, you can add this card to your hand if the reveal card is the declared type. You can only use each effect once per turn. But yeah, I kind of just want to make this card like a test. You give your opponent a question, you answer it wrong, they fail. But also you as well, if you want to get this card back, it gives you a question, you get it wrong, you're not getting it back, at least not for that turn. Now we have the last trap, which is a counter trap, Sky Breakthrough. The art and the name here is supposed to be referencing, 0-point breakthrough, and how, like in the art, it's showing how Tsuna can use it to freeze enemies. That's supposed to be Zonx's frozen there. When a spell or trap or a monster effect is activated while you control Sky Monster, you get the activation, then you can destroy that card if you control only fire and light monsters. And if you summon a Tsuna monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So yeah, it's just a counter trap, like all other counter traps. Negates, destroys if you control only fire and light monsters, but standard. But you can also reset if you summon a Tsuna as well, so that's pretty good, I think. But yeah, that was the last of the cards. So of course now, we'll head over to the dueling book and show you some combos with them. So here we are. We're going to start off with just showing what we can do with just a Tsuna in our hand. Let's start with normal summoning Tsuna. And we're immediately going to link them off for other Tsuna. Use the effect to search out a monster, that Reborn, or tutor. Then since we control Tsuna monster, special summon him out. effect, add a sky spell trap. We'll add Famiglia. Activate this. Clear. Well, you know, effect on activation. Add any sky card. We will add. Let's add flames. Then we'll activate flames. We'll target Sky Boss Tsuna. So then we'll special summon a level 7 or lower one. Level 6, and then Sky Boss is level 7. We'll summon the first Sky Boss. Then of course that means he gets destroyed. Then we're gonna do chain 1. When you summon, target a sky card in our graveyard, add it to hand. We'll add, I guess we'll target Sky Flames again. Then we're gonna do chain 2. Tsuna to summon another ordinary Tsuna from hand, deck, or graveyard. So we'll summon the other one from deck. Then we'll use Sky Famiglia effect, revealing our fusion, and summoning Natsu from deck. No effect on his summon. Then we send 1, 2 to summon out the Gen 10 Tsuna. Again, no effect on his summon, but it is a quick effect still, target destroy a monster and then possibly spells and traps as well. I wonder if that includes the field spell. Like if they put a monster here and they put a field spell there, would it still destroy because it's in the adjacent zone? Because weird, because sometimes like the field spell zone, it's like, oh well, that's not a spell trap zone, even though you put a spell there. It's the field spell zone. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But then we'll activate Reborn, targeting the Tsuna. Gain life points equal to half of its attack. So that'd be 1350. Yep, that's math. And then, yeah, this is what we can do off just the one Tsuna. Uninterrupted, of course. We can't use this last effect, right? Because it has to reveal a sky monster name. We only have Sky Flames in hand. And we could have left this engraved in case it destroys one of these. Use this banish effect. But yeah, we have a quick effect, banish of any card your opponent controls to their next standby phase, and a monster pop, which could also pop a spell trap. But yeah, pretty good. Let's see if we can do another combo. Alright, trying with 2 now. As you can see, I put an unexpected die in this deck, because Tsuna's a normal monster. So let's start with that. I don't think the order here really matters, but summon out Reborn, or tutor, declare effect. Sky Famiglia, send for a link summon. Effect here, add a monster. We're actually gonna add his father. Gonna have this in hand so that way we can activate this, use the effect to search. We can do Sky Flames again. This time we're gonna do a little bit different. We're gonna do Sky Flames, targeting. We'll go through, we'll summon first Sky Boss. He gets destroyed. Then we're gonna do chain 1, targeting. We'll target the link this time, I guess. And then chain 2, him to summon from hand, deck, or grave. But then also chain 3, since the Tsuna monster I control was destroyed while this was in my hand, you can special summon this card. I guess we'll put him in defense. I don't think it really matters, but do that. Then link monster's effect to summon from deck. Then we'll add him back to the extra deck. And this card summon, you can target one card on the field destroyed. We don't have to do that. Use this card's effect. So again, revealing the fusion. Summoning Natsu. And we will contact Fuse to summon them out. I guess we'll just put them in the X monster zone. Doesn't really matter. Then Reborn's effect again, targeting him. Gain another 1350. And boom. Now for 2 cards, it's kind of just the same thing, except we didn't add Sky Flames to hand. We left that engraved. But again, monster pop. Banish, in this card, father will give us an attack boost by 1,000, and we'll make one of these monsters be unable to be destroyed for the turn. So that's not bad. But yeah, let's see what else we can do. Okay, that's not bad. I can play with this, right? If we were going second, we get an Imperm, which we could use. That's not bad. But yeah, start off Rhoda, add this to hand. Normal summon, special Shogun. Effect to add Famiglia. Here, I guess we'll link summon. Effect to search out. Yeah, we have Sky Flames in hand, so we might as well just search out the father. Let's wait real quick. We'll just Sky Flames here, targeting the Tsuna. Summon out the Sky Boss, destroying this one, and that's gonna chain 1, targeting. We'll target Sky Flames. Chain 2. Boss, Tsuna. Then chain 3, Sky Boss's father. So we're gonna summon 1. Summon 2, where are you at? 2. And 3. Add flames back to our hand. No effects on summon, right? Right. No effects we want to use here. Activate Famiglia. We'll add any sky card. This time we'll add Breakthrough. I'll say you could do test here, because then it'd be like we have 2 monsters. We'd have an Ash and a Dino, and then we keep Sky Flames in hand, so that way they'd have to like randomly choose one of these. And they know we have a spell in hand, but they probably also think we have a monster. So it increased our chances of them getting it wrong. But declare, reveal the fusion, you know, summon out not to. Send the grave, summon this guy, reborn effect at 1350. Then we can set this for a negate, and we'll pass here, you know. So it's about as good as almost as like the 2-card combo, really, just with more follow-up, I guess. We have Big Brother for next turn. If we want to summon it, we can have one of their monsters attacked, and we can negate 1/2. Sky Flames to get rid of any one of these, you know, next turn, and to make sure they stay around through our opponent's turn. We have Father to banish it, banish himself, make any one of these indestructible. Sky Famiglia, if they try to destroy any other ones from that battle, we can reveal the Dino in our hand. You know, make it so that it can't be destroyed by battle for the rest of the turn either. Again, monster spell trap effect, negate. And then during our next turn, if we can summon another Tsuna, which we could do because with Sky Flames if we wanted to, we can set it back to our field again. Quick effect monster pop, along with spells or traps possibly, and a quick effect banish. So again, really good, I think. I feel like it's like the best boards you can get, but I'll see if I can make a hand that might be better. I don't know if there is one, but I guess we could try. So give me 1 second. Alright, so we're gonna try this. I feel like this might be fine, right? We'll try it. So we're gonna activate Unexpected Die, summon, special summon, effect to search out any spell or trap, Wet Flames, send the grave, link summon, effect to search, we'll add Big Brother here, activate, targeting this, gonna summon Primo here, for Sky Boss, destroyed. It's gonna be chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, chain 2 to summon. I just realized I didn't choose who I was targeting with him yet. Guess we'll add Flames back to hand. Yeah, we'll just add Flames back. Activate Famiglia. Use it to add Test the Sky to hand. I realized we never actually want to use Sky Release. Like I said, it's kind of niche, you know. Honestly, you could probably just run one of it. I put 3 in here, but like it probably doesn't come up often. But like I guess it could be useful, you know. Damage step, just gain 1,000. Declare here, reveal the fusion monster, of course. Summon not to. Who's the second effect we also haven't been doing, because again, more of an effect if your opponent already has a monster. Send 1/2, special summon him. Reborn effect, gain 1350. We'll just leave that there. We'll set Test the Sky, and we'll set Sky Breakthrough. It's kind of just similar to the last one, you know, but now we just have both our traps, you know. A lot of interaction. But yeah, I think the deck was pretty cool, you know. I enjoyed making it. Even though Sky Release didn't really come up at all during any of these, you know, I still think it's a cool deck, you know. And with that, I finally finished this series of making the 10th generation of Anglo family their own custom Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes. I think this was cool. I like making custom Yu-Gi-Oh cards and seeing them like come together and actually work, you know. But yeah, maybe I'll make some more in the future. So I guess if you're interested in seeing a certain family or faction getting a deck, you know, leave that in the comments below. Also, let me know what you think about this deck as well. Comment down which was your favorite deck out of the ones I made. And yeah, like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to know when the next video I'm gonna upload is. Now that this series is over, I want to try to make some other content too. But yeah, I think the next upload I do is just gonna be something a little different. And sorry that it took so long for me to get all these out. You know, life has been lifing, you know. Again, thanks for watching. All right.